Okay, guys, my name is Becky Page, and I am a friend to both of these ladies, both Nicole and Sonja, and they're going to share their stories tonight. I'm going to make sure that we record this, and we're going to share a little brief presentation with you. So let me get us started. I'm so glad y'all hopped on. Tonight, we're just going to talk about gut health, and I don't know how much you know about gut health, but when I first got involved with Plexus, I knew basically nothing. I knew that it was good for me. I had learned just enough about probiotics, but I've spent the past 7 years kind of diving headlong into gut health. And tonight, that's really just what we want to share. So we're going to share a couple testimonies, and then we're going to talk really briefly about a few products, and then we'll wrap up. But let me go ahead and pass the mic to Nicole, first of all. Go ahead, Nicole.
All right. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. So I'm Nicole. I'm originally from Oklahoma City, but moved to Northwest Arkansas in Fayetteville about 2 years ago. My husband is an optometrist, and I was previously a pharmaceutical sales rep before staying at home with my 4 children. I currently homeschool all 4 of my kids and enjoy remodeling our house whenever I'm not busy with all my other activities. I actually started the Plexus products in March of this year after about 2.5 years of struggling with my health. When my family moved to Northwest Arkansas, I honestly just thought, like, all the stress of moving and all that goes on with that, life change, homeschooling my kids for the first time, I really thought that that was playing into all the reasons that I was struggling with my health. So at first I just kind of ignored it. But then after I kept experiencing daily headaches, like probably taking, I don't even know, 12 ibuprofens a day for headaches, pretty much every day. I had irregular cycles, terrible bloating and cramping, extreme fatigue. I was napping every afternoon. Lots and lots of symptoms like that. I wasn't sleeping through the night was the worst part. And it wasn't just waking up occasionally. It was being awake for hours at night, not being able to sleep. So anyways, when all that happened, I finally was like, I've got to seek some medical help because I can't function like this anymore. So I ended up going to the doctor, and basically they ran thousands of dollars worth of exams and blood work, and everything came back normal. But I kept insisting that it couldn't be normal because I for sure did not feel normal. But after a while, I just thought maybe I was losing my mind. And eventually, 2 doctors later, and I was then on hormone pills, birth control pills, and then eventually antidepressant, and just was really frustrated with my health and what was going on. So I finally found a different doctor and thought I'll give it one last try with this doctor, who told me that she thought I had a gut health problem called Candida overgrowth. And actually, Becky will pop it up on the screen now that lists out some of the symptoms of Candida overgrowth. But I actually laughed out loud when she said this to me, because I honestly didn't really believe in gut health. And so I laughed and I told her that. I was like, is that even a thing? And to which she was like, yeah, it's a thing. And I was like, do you have any like articles you can give me or research on this? And so anyways, so that's kind of what started my whole gut health journey, was this doctor suggesting that I had this problem. So she obviously wanted to put me on a really restrictive diet for 14 weeks, as well as 14 weeks of antibiotics, and then about 8 different supplements, which she said had to be highly bioavailable because that was the only way that my body would absorb them. So she gave me a list of certain supplements that were the best, and I was going to be spending about $250 a month just on the supplements. So then now insert Plexus. I met Becky, who is my neighbor, and she had been talking to me about gut health and about Plexus. And so I had been sharing some of my health journey with her. And so when she told me that Plexus was only 3 products and that it was targeted towards, gut health and Candida overgrowth, I honestly was just like, fine, I'll try it. I mean, it was cheaper than the 8 different supplements that I was going to have to take. So that's kind of what began my Plexus journey. I had actually only ever tried, the first product I tried was Active, which is an energy drink, mainly because my husband and I love pre-workout drinks, and we lift weights in our garage. And anyways, so we've always taken Red Bulls, Monster, Bang, all the bad things for you. So I was super interested in Active. So it was the first product I actually tried, and I loved the taste, but I mainly loved that I didn't, because I get the major jitters when I drink the Bang, but I loved it because I liked the energy I got from it. So anyways, so Active was the first thing I tried, but then I added Triplex. So I mix the Active and the Slim together every day, and then I take BioCleanse and ProBio 5 at night. And I was super skeptical, thought it wasn't going to work. And within a week, I slept through the night for the first time in 2.5 years, which was like a miracle. And I cry almost talking about it, because when you haven't slept in that long, it's like a miracle to finally sleep for the first time. So slept for the night in a week, and I thought, this has got to be a fluke. Something must have happened. The Lord just must have been gracious one time. So I don't know what's happening. But then it just kept getting better. And it's been about 3 months, almost 4 now, that I've been on Plexus, and pretty much all my symptoms have resolved. My headaches are gone. My energy is back. The fatigue is gone. The month 3 was like miracle month on Plexus. All my PMS symptoms are virtually non-existent anymore. Like no bloating, no cramping. It's been insane. I'm off all of my medications now. I'm not on antidepressant or any birth controls anymore. And I just honestly feel really, really good. And I just was so excited about it that I have decided to not just use it to help my own health, but to help my family's finances. Because this came at a really hard time for my family, not just with my health, but also with finances because of COVID. My husband wasn't able to work for 6 weeks, and I had unfortunately quit my side hustle 2 weeks prior to the big COVID lockdown, having no idea that we were about to get hit with a pandemic. So truly, it just, the fact that it worked, I was like, this is something I can do because I believe in it. And not only do I believe in it, but one of my doctors is on Plexus, and then my surgeon, I had surgery a few weeks ago, and had a cyst removed, and he even commended me on targeting my gut health because it is like the new healthcare focus. So it's not just me that believes in it, but it's even, healthcare professionals. And so I just love it. And I'm excited that you don't have to feel so terrible just because you're getting older or just because you're a busy mom. That's just not the truth. Like, there is a way to get healthy and to feel better through gut health. So I'll turn it over to Sonja.
Thank you, Nicole. Okay, let me pass the mic to Sonja. Oops, hopefully, there we go. Go ahead, Sonja.
Yes, my name's Sonja. I am a mother of 4, and former ICU nurse. Critical care was my passion for 10 years. And then I decided I had enough critical care work at my home with 4 kids that I decided to stay home. And I'm also a bar method instructor. So that's kind of my fun little hobby I do. But I actually started taking Plexus about 3 years ago. I had struggled with migraines my entire life and was so desperate in a season 3 years ago that I saw someone post about it, and I was like, I'm in, you've got me. So I started Plexus, and had I kept taking my Plexus consistently, I think my story would have ended there. But it didn't. About a year ago, after my 4th baby, I had an incredible experience with postpartum depression. And postpartum depression is a light term. I think like my counselor wanted to like write a book after my experience. So it was bad. It was enough that I quit taking care of myself. And one of the first things to go was my supplements. It was just, I didn't have time for it. I didn't have a desire to make sure that I was feeling healthy and happy. And I was just in a bad place. So I very rapidly declined. That was back in April. And by August, I was sick. That's when I started my bar method training, and it was just so much work to keep up with it. And finally, it was my 5-year-old daughter one day commented on me being sick and in bed all the time. And I was just like, oh gosh, okay. If my kids start to notice, that's when I have to start paying attention. So my husband actually went to great lengths to start getting me appointments at the Mayo Clinic. So I was all set to go to the Mayo Clinic, was getting appointments. And as I'm talking to the coordinator there, she said, go to your docs there. So I went to my OB My migraines were back full force. I couldn't figure out the trigger. It was cycles or weather or food. They were back. My cycles were horrible. They were irregular and painful and heavy, and I had made such bad PMS, and my depression and anxiety always hung over me. Just a dark cloud, like they say. It was a literal dark cloud over me, and it was heavy, and I was tired all the time. And then the cherry on the top was my stomach issues. I knew what they were going to be, and I started getting answers. So I went to my OB doc, and she said, well, let's just do a hysterectomy. And I'm like, hey, I'm 37. Okay. And then I went to my neurologist, and they put me on 2 different meds for migraines. And then I went to my counselor, who put me on 3 different antidepressants, anxiety, and then another antipsychotic just to sleep. And I would say, I don't feel good on these. And they'd say, well, yeah, but that's better than being depressed. I'm like, I don't know if it is. And then I went to the GI doc, and I got scoped and found out I had ulcerative colitis on top of all that. So, and of course he gave me medicine just to patch it up. So I was on my way to Mayo Clinic, decided to reach out to a functional med doc, went to a functional med doc and had blood drawn. And once we were talking about my lab results and talking to him about what could be happening, my mind just started going, I know what this is. And he started saying things like leaky gut and my nutrients not being absorbed. And there was autoimmune markers that were popping up, and my hormone levels were all off. And I had the MTHFR pop up, and I was like, the only other place I knew about that was from Plexus, and I didn't really know about it, but I knew it was from Plexus. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And so he gave me a list of all the supplements I needed to take. And so I kind of like trotted out, with my piece of paper to the desk, and I was like, can I have these please? And had, I don't know, like $300 or $400 worth of supplements. And then my colitis meds weren't covered, so that was $900 on top of that. And just the daily meds that I was taking just to kind of function throughout the day. It was incredible. The next day after I got all the supplements, I decided to restart my Plexus, and it was 3, maybe 4 weeks that I was a new person, literally. That my first cycle back was normal. It was regular. I had no warning signs that I was about to start my cycle, which I would normally know like a week ahead. I didn't have a migraine, which was like, like what's happening? Like weather came and went. My cycle came and went. I didn't have migraines. I had just gotten new life. So no more naps. I mean, to say that I've gotten new life from Plexus is like an understatement, because I really have just been refreshed and revitalized, and I'm just here for it. So I've had such a great experience with it the second time around that like I can't help but share. And I don't know why, like I just feel like everyone needs to hear about it, because I think as moms and women, we get sucked into the cycle that we have to take care of everyone else first. And I just don't believe it. I just think that we have to take care of ourselves, and that we deserve to take care of ourselves. Like all the people who say, I do it for my kids, I do it for this. I think that's awesome. And I love to see reasons why we do things. But I just want to be a solid advocate that you are reason enough, you are worthy, and you are deserving, and you have options to feel good and to take control of your health. And I share because I care. And when I get paid for sharing what I love, it's just makes my day. It's just so fun. And I could say I don't care about the money, but it's exciting. It's exciting to feel like I have money in my pocket, being stay-at-home mom. When we were shut down with COVID, I didn't have my bar income. So my Plexus quickly made up for what I was making at bar. So I'm just thrilled about it. I'm thrilled to be back in it. My only regret is that I didn't stick with it 3 years ago, that I didn't start the business 3 years ago. Because Becky, I probably would have been in Hawaii with you last year had I not given up. But maybe next year I'll go with you. So it's awesome. It's just sincerely love the products.
I can't wait for that, Sonja, for both of you. And that's part of what we're talking about tonight is just that everybody has a story, and you might hear bits of your story in some of ours, but if not, I do want you to consider what other issues you might have that could be contributing to having poor gut health. And part of it might be that you're sluggish, you've got headaches, migraines are a huge tip off to gut health. I had sugar cravings and insomnia, and I also had depression and anxiety and irritability, brain fog, but hormone imbalance, whatever it is. Sonja mentioned some autoimmune issues, and those are chronically related to gut health. I'm going to tell you really briefly about my story. And one of the things that I have in common with both Nicole and Sonja is that I think all three of us looked really healthy from the outside. When I met Nicole, she was the picture of health. She and Cliff would CrossFit down the street, and Russ, my husband, and I would say, oh my gosh, we're all CrossFitters, like how fun. So we all looked really healthy. I would have never have guessed that Nicole was going through all the hormone hell that she was stuck in. Sonja was a bar instructor. She was already the picture of health herself. Who would have known that she had an appointment at the Mayo Clinic because she was so sick? And I was the same way. I was a licensed professional counselor in Dallas and owned a large private practice, and I ate Whole30 and paleo and did CrossFit 3 times a week. But I was a stressed out mom. I was super irritable and anxious. I also have a history both with clinical depression and postpartum depression, but I had never gotten that low again. But I was dealing with every night not being able to sleep through the night. I'd wake up, my heart would race, my mind would race. I constantly was bloated and had sugar cravings. And every day I had to schedule, literally on my calendar, I'd have to mark out a slot where clients couldn't come because I would lay down on my couch and take a nap. I was just super tired. When I started taking Plexus is when I began learning about gut health. And I want to tell you really briefly about why it's so important, especially in 2020. I don't know if you know that 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Your gut is home to millions upon millions of microbes, bacteria that's both good and bad. It's where your nutrients get absorbed and your toxins are kept out. And it's also called your second brain. Your gut and your brain are constantly talking. And that's why gut inflammation can have an immediate impact on mood disorders. And I say this as a former professional. 90% of your body's serotonin is produced in your gut. And that's why so many times people who have a condition like IBS or another digestive related issue, they are prescribed so often antidepressants. And that's because the doctors are typically trying to impact your depression by impacting your gut. Gut bacteria can affect weight loss. It can also affect your productivity and your happiness, like I mentioned. I want you to think of the lining of your gut. It needs to be a really thick wall, like that's impenetrable, except to absorb nutrients through the blood. But what happens in leaky gut is when we impact our gut wall and we thin it out, it almost becomes more like a chain linked fence. And so you get foreign invaders like small food particles. This directly causes an autoimmune response in the body. And there's a ton of things that destroy our gut. A huge offender is sugar. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in the 80s and had so many amazing casseroles and sugar and processed food and Little Debbie's and a whole host of things that damaged my gut, but also alcohol, hello COVID, steroids and antibiotics. So there's modern medicine, even over-the-counter non-steroidal anti-inflammatories like Tylenol can thin out the lining of your gut, as can stress or lack of sleep, eating GMOs or introducing them into your system, and other inflammatory foods. So I want to talk with you about something called Triplex. It's the system that I like to start most people on. It's super simple, 3 products. The first is called Slim, and Slim is what helps balance your blood sugar. So when you balance your insulin, that master hormone has a massive effect on all of the body's hormones. It also contains prebiotic fiber, which feeds the good microbes in your gut, and it has amazing antioxidants. So it starts a detox product right when you start drinking it. I drink mine in the morning so that it'll impact my blood sugar throughout the day. Probio 5 is like the one product that we are always running out of, and the one product I never want to run out of. Everybody in my family takes it, even down to our youngest. My infant son had eczema, and so we put him on it at 2 years old, and that eczema was cleared up in 1 month. It has good microbes, so the healthy bacteria that we also call probiotics. But here's where it's different from all the other probiotics that I've seen on the market. It has digestive enzymes, which is so important for so many of us, and antifungals. So the unhealthy bacteria lives underneath this outer shell in your gut, and that's why it's so hard to get rid of. The antifungals in Probio 5 break down that outer shell, and as that does, those microbes die off and they shed from your gut, which actually helps improve your gut lining. And then BioCleanse, which is truly a magnesium and vitamin C product. Magnesium is so crucial for so many of your body's functioning. It's a calming agent. It helps you sleep. It helps with restless legs. It's really good for brain function. Vitamin C as well. They both help cleanse the digestive tract. So I just want to end with talking about a couple lessons from 2020. Now, Plexus has a whole host of products. We usually have systems. And so you've got a gut health system. You've got a weight loss system. You have a pain and discomfort and nerve system. We have a children's system. But here's what we've learned from 2020 is that health really matters. Health is the new wealth. And I think as we go through this summer and we get ready to send kids hopefully back to school, it's so crucial that you deal with not just the symptoms of what's going on in your health, but really get down to the root causes. I took this photo of Sonja's previous medicine cabinet before she got back on her Plexus supplement. You can see she was on just a ton of different medications, as was Nicole. So if we've learned anything, it's that health is crucial. The whole nation is hanging in the balance on who's got deep down good health from the inside out. But we also learned that we can work from home. I think the reason why Plexus is so interesting to so many people right now is because it's a portable income, and it's a way to add a third stream of income that you really can do from your phone. There's a picture of my husband and I literally doing what we do daily in a pair of sweats on the bed, working our business. It's also a great business for busy moms. Nicole is a homeschool mom of 4, and she blows me away when it comes to momming, but even she can sneak a quick photo in with her products before bedtime and be able to make a legitimate business. The reason I've always loved it is doing it with friends, but I'm telling you, because Plexus supports my entire family, it is our sole source of income, and God has used it as a means not just to impact people. Like, there's nothing better than getting messages from people or feeling better, but really being able to use it truly as a ministry tool to bless people. And I can't think of 2 better ways to bless people in 2020 than through their health and through impacting their finances. So with that, we will close. I'm going to stop sharing in case anybody has any questions. And if so, you can unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat section. But I did want to say, if the triplex combo sounds like something you're interested in, let us know in the comments. And if you want more info, let us know that in the comments as well, just so that we can follow up with you. But make sure you talk to whoever invited you to this event. And I hope you guys have a great night. Any questions? Okay. Thanks, guys, so much. If you want the recording, we can send it to you.